I'm teacher BoQian from Kangaroo Study. Welcome back to our channel again. Now, over the past few weeks, when I was speaking with many of the parents, I noticed something very interesting. So, many of the kids, they were able to do very well for the round 1 test. But when it comes to the preparation for the round 2, they started running into problems. You know why? Because many of us don't realize how different the level of difficulty is between the round 1 and the round 2. And as parents, you might also be wondering how we can prepare in this limited period of time. So that's why we are having this video today. So to begin with, I'm going to give you an overview of the round 2 exam. What are the main differences between the round 2 and the round 1? From there, I'm going to give you suggestions on how we can improve and not just working harder, but working smarter. So let's start with the overview of round 2 exam. Now about the exam key dates, the round 1 exam already happened on 21st of August. And these results will only be released in early of October. After that, we will have the round 2 exam. This will happen on 14th of October and 15th of October. After which, the results will release in early November. You will be notified whether you will be selected for the GP program. From there, you can make out your decision. You can choose to accept the offer or you can reject the offer as well. After that, by the end of November, the school will post the official results of those who get into the GP class. So, after we know about the key dates, let's talk about the exam format. So for the round 2 exam, not only English will be tested, Math will be tested, but we also have this new component. This is what we call the general ability. So it's more like an IQ test where they give you different options and you find which one fits in the logic in the question. Now, you may be wondering why is this 2024, not 2025? The reason is because this year's schedule hasn't been released yet. But from past 2 years' experience, we've noticed that exam duration and exam format has been exactly the same. So you can make use of last year's schedule as a good reference of what's going to happen in this year. So about the number of questions that's tested, in English, we got 76 questions, GA1 is 55, GA2 is 32. And for the math, we have 41 questions. So out of these 41 questions, 15 of them will be MCQ, 25 will be short answer questions, and there's one question we need to explain our reasons as well. So after we clear about the exam format, let's talk about the selection process. So every year we have about 40,000 students who participated in the round 1. Out of them, 10% will be selected. So that's about 4,000 students. They will proceed to the round 2. Out of these 4,000 students, they will select another 10%. So eventually, every year we have about 400 students who get into the GP program. So overall, this is about 1% of the total students that get selected into the GP. Now from this selection process, we can already see the standard is very high. So only 1% of them is selected. So of course, the questions will be very difficult. So let's talk about the questions themselves. Now, when we are given a question, there are only two ways to make it harder. One way is those of the same topic. The other is those of new topics. So both of these types will be present in the round 2 text. So about those questions of the same topic, let's take a look at some examples. Now you can see that both questions here, they are about the fractions. So in the first question, it's already cut into equal parts. So we can express the fraction directly. But for the second question, you see the 5 small rectangles, they are not equal to each other. So additional steps are needed here. So from here we can see that for the round 2 question, they are less straightforward. More steps are needed. So even though it's about the same topics, they are testing us to a greater level. So let's see another 2 examples here. Now, the one on the left and the one on the right, both of them are number puzzle questions. For the one on the left, this is more straightforward. For the one stated, we can already see the value of the triangle. Then we just need to check for the rectangle as well. So there are only 2 ways there where we can try which one is correct. But for the question on the right, there are less information given. And for the 3 digits, we have to do a more detailed analysis before we can get our answer here. So we can also see from here, less information is given for question in round 2 and more unknowns are given. So even if the same topic, the question will be more difficult. So other than those of the same topics, we will also be introducing some topics that are not tested in round 1 before. For example, we have area and perimeter. Then we can also have worker problems. These are the things that's not tested in the round 1 exam. So to make you understand this better, I have summarized these topics. So in the smaller oval shape, these are topics that's only tested in round 1. In the bigger oval shape, these are the topics tested in both round 1 and round 2. So after we clear about this, let's talk about the new question format. Now in the round 2, remember just now there's one question, we need to explain our reason as well. So this was the last question from 2024. So in this question, not only we need to get the correct answer, but we also need to explain why. So here is an example of how you can explain the questions. You have to write the detailed steps on how you explain the questions here. So this will be another new question format. So in summary, we have 3 main differences here. First, it will be the same topics, but they go to a deeper level. Second, will be testing us on the new topics that didn't come out in the round 1 before. Thirdly, it will be the new question format where they need us to explain the reason as well. So now we are clear about the differences between the round 1 and round 2. Let's talk about how we can improve from there. So about the type of question that we need to do, let's take a look at these 2 examples here. Now both of these are from the round 2 exam before. And what's our first impression here? We will notice that both questions are very similar to each other. In fact, only the numbers are different, the other things are exactly the same. So once we know how to solve the first question, of course, we are going to be able to solve the second question here. So this means that our main focus will be on the real past GP questions before. Now, of course, when we solve them, we can separate them into the 2 categories. Those of the same topics shared by both round 1 and round 2, and those that are newly introduced in the round 2 only. So to make it easier for you, I've summarized these topics here. On the left, these are topics that come out in both rounds. On the right, these are topics that are round 2 only. So when you do your questions, you can, based on these topics here, to know if they are round 1 and round 2. So other than that, for the questions that are shared by both rounds, how can we go about doing them? Let's take a look at these 2 examples here. Now this was a question on the fractions. You can see from here, we can just draw a model and solve the question directly. But when it comes out in round 2, although it's about the same topic, but once we draw the model, this is 2 out of 5. Then we will notice that we cannot express the other fraction in the same model. We cannot express half here. So means that we cannot just draw one model and solve the question. So what we need to do is we have to adjust this model here. We cut it into smaller equal parts so we can express both fractions in the same model. So when we go about doing this type of questions, the first thing is we have to notice the difference between the round 1 and the round 2. What are the main differences here? One of them we can express a fraction in the model, the other one we cannot. So then we look for the characteristics of the different questions. So in this case, it will be we have 2 different fractions. We can express one in the model, the other one we cannot. So that's why we need to adjust our model here. When you go about doing the other questions, you should also follow the same steps here. So about the questions that are newly introduced in round 2, how can we go about doing them? What's the biggest challenge here is that because these things are relatively new to us. So sometimes we do not know about the concept. For example, area and perimeter. If we haven't learned it before, of course, we won't be able to solve the question. And then the other thing is sometimes the question will use a new method to solve the question. For example, the pigeonhole principle is also used in the last question from 2024. So if it's a new method, we may also find it difficult to solve the question here. So that is why for us, in order to solve these questions, the first thing we do is make sure we understand the concept. So in order to understand this, you can refer to textbooks, or you can just come to me directly, or we can discuss the context together. Other than that, you can also refer to our YouTube video. This will be an additional learning resource here. In our YouTube channel, we also have videos related to the GEP Round 2 questions. For example, we have a video on area and perimeter. From there, you can get more details about how you can solve this type of question. So now we are clear about the concepts. We can attempt the questions here. but sometimes we might get a question wrong. So the question now is, are we going to just copy down the solutions and move on to the next question? Definitely we cannot do that. Okay. So everyone, we should take note that when we solve this, we must ask the teacher and we must make sure we are clear about how this question works. So when you do that, you can just send me a photo of the question and then we can discuss the solutions together. Now after we discuss the solution, you understand the method? No, that's not all. You must also redo the question as well. This way you get a deeper understanding of the question here. So after we clear about these questions, let's talk about the mistakes we made. So these mistakes we make, now we are going to put them into our correction booklet. So this is how our correction booklet looks like. So this consists of 4 steps. Step 1, we paste the question that we got wrong. After that, we have to redo the questions and then we can summarize on the method used in the question and reflect on our mistakes as well. Now of course, in the last step is where we redo the question again. You can see that we have some days here, day 2, day 7, day 30. These will be the days where you redo the question again. So I've summarized everything into a timeline here. At the start, we made a mistake. So 1 hour later, we copy the question into the question booklet and we do it without looking at the answer key. Now 1 day later, we redo it again. This time, we reflect on our mistakes made. Next time, it will be 1 week later, and this time, we also need to do some similar practice. As for the similar practice, you can contact me to ask for those questions as well. So after 1 month, this is the last time we are going to redo, and then we summarize on the method used in the question. So this will be how we tackle the questions made when we do these practices. So the next thing we want to talk about is the event that's happening in our center. So for the round 2, we will have a round 2 mock exam. This will be on 18th of September. After the exam, each of you will receive an individual report where you highlight your strengths and weaknesses and how you can improve from them. Then we have the mock exam review class. This will happen the week after, where we explain the most difficult questions in the mock exam. After which, during the next week, we will have the daily check-in challenge, where every day we'll post 3 questions in the study group. After you answer them, I'm going to help you mark them and give you feedback on the questions. And lastly, we also have the prediction focus class. It will happen on 9th of October and 10th of October. So this is where we have the prediction class, where we're going to predict what are the questions that are most likely to come out in the round 2 exam. So now we are clear about everything. You can also contact me to ask for more details or more questions. So until the next time, I'll see you in the next video.